All right, burger fans, get ready, because today we are doing a deep dive into, one of the most iconic burger chains out there.
Fuddruckers.
Now, we've got an awesome YouTube video that breaks down their whole history, and, it's a wild ride.
Oh, it is. You know, it's interesting because when you think about it, Fuddruckers was really ahead of their time. Like, way ahead.
In what way?
I mean, they were like the pioneers of fast casual. Before fast casual was even really a thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, picture this. It's 1980. And this guy, Phil Romano, he comes up with this totally radical idea for a burger joint. He's not just serving burgers, right? He wants to create like a whole experience. So he's talking fresh, never frozen beef, ground in-house, baked from scratch buns. And then get this, a toppings bar. Like a massive toppings bar that would make any condiment lover just drool.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was revolutionary.
It was. They were all about customization and quality, you know, at a time when everybody else was serving those, like, bland, pre-made frozen patties.
Yeah, like the total opposite of that.
Total opposite.
And then on top of all that, they come out with this slogan, the world's greatest hamburger.
I mean, talk about a bold statement. Pure marketing genius.
Right. That's like they were challenging the entire burger industry.
They were. And it worked.
It did. People went crazy for it.
Oh, yeah.
Like everyone wanted to be a part of this, burger revolution. And by 1983, they were like on top of the world, a publicly traded company, expanding like crazy. But, all good things must come to an end.
Unfortunately, the late 80s were not kind to Fuddruckers. Overexpansion led to, some financial issues.
Got a little too big for the britches.
You could say that. So they're at a crossroads, and they decide to merge with this company called DACA International.
DACA International.
Yeah, and now DACA. They were known for their expertise in cafeteria-style food service.
Cafeteria. So the home of the world's greatest hamburger teams up with a cafeteria company.
I know it sounds kind of strange, right?
It does.
But at the time, it seemed like a good fit.
Does it?
Well, I mean, think about it. Fuddruckers already had that kind of cafeteria vibe with the toppings bar.
Yeah, I guess.
And DACA had the experience to help them manage their growing operation. They were good at, efficiency and logistics.
Okay, but I'm still not seeing how this aligns with their, world's greatest hamburger image.
Yeah.
Like, cafeteria food isn't exactly known for being gourmet.
Exactly. And that's where the problem started. See, DACA's focus on efficiency might have led them to push for things like pre-portioning the toppings to speed up service.
Okay.
But that goes against the whole idea of letting customers build their own burgers.
Right, like that was their thing.
Exactly. So you start to get this disconnect between the brand promise and the actual experience.
So it's like they were trying to be both a gourmet burger joint and a high-volume cafeteria.
Right, and that's a tough balance to strike.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like a recipe for an identity crisis.
Yeah.
And speaking of identity crises, what about that whole Fuddruckers Express thing they tried inside Home Depot stores?
Oh, yeah. That was a classic case of brand mismatch.
Like trying to sell luxury cars at a used car lot.
Pretty much.
I mean, picture this. You're at Home Depot, surrounded by power tools and lumber, and suddenly you're faced with a premium burger joint.
Yeah, it just didn't fit.
No.
The people shopping at Home Depot weren't exactly Fuddruckers' target audience.
Right.
They were looking for quick, cheap bites, not a gourmet burger experience.
No wonder it flopped.
It did.
And sadly, this was kind of the beginning of the end for Fuddruckers. Their commitment to freshness started to slip.
Yeah.
The world's greatest claim started to ring a little hollow.
Yeah, it lost its luster.
And they ended up bouncing around between a bunch of different owners.
It was a turbulent period. They went from unique casual restaurants to Michael Cannon's King Cannon, and then finally to an investment firm called Tavistock.
So like a revolving door of ownership.
Exactly.
And none of them could seem to figure out how to bring Fuddruckers back to its former glory.
It's like they were all missing the core problem. Fuddruckers had lost sight of what made them special in the first place.
It's a classic tale, isn't it? A brand loses its way, forgets its roots, and struggles to keep up with the times.
It happens all the time, unfortunately.
Yeah. And by 2010, Fuddruckers was in deep trouble.
Deep trouble.
They even filed for bankruptcy.
It was looking pretty bleak.
It felt like the world's greatest was about to become just a footnote in burger history.
Right. But then, something unexpected happened. Another Texas-based chain stepped in to save the day.
Oh, who was it?
Luby's.
Luby's.
Luby's. You know those folks famous for their cafeteria-style comfort food?
Oh, yeah.
And their loyal following among, let's just say the mature dining crowd.
Okay.
they decided to take a gamble on Fuddruckers.
Yeah, interesting. So you've got these two Texas-based chains, both with that cafeteria-style DNA, both focused on value, but with totally different vibes.
Totally different vibes.
Right. Like Luby's was all about home-style cooking and nostalgia.
Comfort food.
While Fuddruckers was trying to be this edgy build-your-own-burger experience.
Yeah, it was a bit of an odd couple situation.
It was. And their target demographics were completely different, too.
Oh, absolutely. Luby's appealed to an older clientele. You know, those folks looking for familiar comfort food?
Right.
While Fuddruckers was all about families and kids, especially with those kids eat free promotions.
So how do you bridge that gap?
Well, Luby's came up with this idea. They called it the dual concept location.
Dual concept.
Yeah, basically putting both restaurants under one roof.
So, like, you can have grandma enjoying her fried chicken and mashed potatoes while the grandkids are going wild at the toppings bar.
Exactly. The idea was to create synergy, attract a wider customer base, and maximize operational efficiency.
Makes sense on paper.
It did, but in reality, it was like trying to mix oil and water.
How so?
The brands were just too different, and the execution wasn't always smooth.
Yeah, can imagine.
Think about it. You're trying to maintain two separate menus, two distinct cooking styles, and two different service approaches, all under one roof?
That's a logistical nightmare. And to make matters worse, Luby's also acquired the struggling cheeseburger in Paradise chain around the same time.
Oh, yeah, it did.
So now they're juggling three very different brands.
Three very different brands.
All while facing declining sales.
And a rapidly changing industry.
It's like a recipe for disaster.
It was. Yeah. And unfortunately, the pandemic delivered the final blow.
Oh, yeah.
The restaurant industry as a whole was hit hard. And by mid-2020, Luby's was on the ropes.
And Fuddruckers.
Fuddruckers was looking like collateral damage.
So it felt like the curtain was about to fall on the world's greatest saga.
It did. But wait, there's a plot twist.
A plot twist.
A plot twist. Enter Black Titan Franchise Systems, led by this guy, Nicholas Perkins.
Okay.
In 2021, they swooped in and bought the remaining Fuddruckers locations, injecting a much-needed dose of hope and energy into the story.
So a glimmer of hope for Fuddruckers?
A glimmer of hope.
But they were still facing an uphill battle, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the burger landscape had changed dramatically since their glory days.
For sure.
They had fierce competition from established giants like Five Guys and Shake Shack, and a whole slew of trendy new burger joints popping up everywhere.
Yeah. So how could Fuddruckers possibly survive?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? To survive, let alone thrive. Fuddruckers needed to rediscover its identity and carve out a unique space in this crowded market.
Right. So what's the recipe for a Fuddruckers comeback?
Well, that's what we're going to explore in part 2 of this deep dive. Well, it really boils down to this. Can Fuddruckers recapture the magic that made them so special in the first place?
Right. Because we've all seen those brands, you know, that try to cling to their past glory.
Yeah.
And it just ends up feeling stale and out of touch.
Exactly. They need to find a way to honor their heritage while also embracing the demands of today's consumers.
Like a delicate balancing act.
It is. It's a tightrope walk.
So how do they do that?
Well, I think they could start by really leaning into their legacy of customization.
Okay.
I mean, that was always their biggest differentiator, right? The toppings bar, the build-your-own burger experience. They could really elevate that.
How so?
By offering even more creative toppings and premium ingredients.
Okay. I like where you're going with this.
Imagine a build-your-own burger bar, but instead of just the standard lettuce, tomato, onion, you've got artisanal cheeses, locally sourced produce.
Ooh.
Maybe even some unexpected gourmet options.
Okay, now you're talking.
I'm talking truffle aioli, roasted garlic mushrooms, maybe even a fried egg for good measure.
Stop. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
Right.
So they're tapping into that nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
But also offering something fresh and exciting.
Exactly.
And of course, the execution has to be flawless.
Absolutely. The quality of the ingredients, the cooking methods, the service, everything has to be top-notch.
Right. They have to make people believe again.
They do. Remember those Fuddruckers paper hats?
Oh, yeah. I used to love those.
I felt like a Burger King wearing one. It was all part of the experience.
Yeah.
That sense of fun and celebration that surrounded the brand.
And it wasn't just the hats. It was the whole atmosphere.
The sizzle of the grill.
The aroma of those freshly baked buns.
The energy of the toppings bar.
It was like a sensory overload in the best possible way.
It was.
And they need to bring that back.
They do.
Because at the end of the day, it's not just about serving a burger.
No, it's not.
It's about creating an experience that connects with people on an emotional level.
Exactly.
So the big question is,
Mm-hmm.
can they pull it off? Can Fuddruckers rise from the ashes and reclaim their place among burger royalty?
Well, only time will tell. But Fuddruckers' journey is a reminder that even in the fickle world of food, there's always room for reinvention,
Second chances.
comeback stories.
I like that.
And maybe, just maybe, Fuddruckers can still be a part of that story.
I hope so, because there's something undeniably appealing about their concept. That fresh ground beef, the sizzle of the grill, the endless possibilities of the toppings bar.
It's like a blank canvas for your burger creativity. Remember the anticipation of walking up to that toppings bar? Surveying the rows of fresh veggies, sauces, cheeses.
Oh, yeah.
It was like an adventure waiting to happen.
And the aroma. I can almost smell those freshly baked buns right now.
It was a sensory experience that
Yeah.
went beyond just, a typical burger joint.
It did. So maybe, just maybe,
Yeah.
Fuddruckers can still find a way to tap into that magic.
I hope so. I really do.
It would be great to see them make a comeback.
It would.
And who knows, maybe they could even reclaim that world's greatest title.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
But ultimately, it's up to the customers to decide.
That's right. The power is in the hands of the burger lovers.
It always is.
So what do you say? Let's go get a burger.
I'm in.
I mean, it really makes you think, right? What makes a burger truly great?
Hmm.
Is it the patty of the cheese? The toppings?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it something more
Like what?
like a feeling,
Oh.
a memory,
Mhm.
a connection to a certain time and place?
Yeah, I think it can be all of those things.
Right.
It's not just about, the perfect bite. It's about the whole experience.
The whole burger experience.
Exactly.
And maybe Fuddruckers can still be a part of that.
You think?
I don't know. There's just something about their concept that's so appealing.
What do you mean?
That fresh ground beef, the sizzle of the grill, the endless possibilities of the toppings bar. It's like they tap into this primal craving for something hearty, something customizable, something that feels like a celebration of all things burger.
I see what you're saying.
And it's not just the food either.
No.
It's the memories.
Yeah.
I mean, remember those Fuddruckers paper hats?
Oh, yeah. I used to feel like a king wearing one of those.
Right. And the atmosphere, the aroma.
Oh man, those freshly baked buns.
I can practically smell them right now.
It was an experience.
It was.
And you know what?
No.
Fuddruckers' journey is a reminder that even in the world of food, there's always room for a comeback story.
That's true. So something really inspiring about that.
There is.
It gives me hope for Fuddruckers and for all those other brands out there
Yeah.
that are struggling to find their way.
Right.
It's like a reminder that anything is possible.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of Fuddruckers, I want to hear from you.
Oh.
What are your burger memories?
Mm-hmm.
What's the burger joint that holds a special place in your heart?
Oh, yeah.
Is it a local dive, a family favorite, or maybe even a Fuddruckers from your childhood?
What makes that burger so special?
Tell us your stories. We'd love to hear them.
Share them in the comments below.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep those taste buds tingling, and keep believing in the power of a truly great burger.
Because a good burger can bring us together.
It can. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the ups and downs of Fuddruckers. As always, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and comment below.
Yeah, leave us your thoughts.
Let us know what you think.
And don't forget to check out the links in the description. You might find some useful stuff there. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.